What's up, boys?
What's up, Dad?
Well, hey, welcome back to our weekly fishing report here for the Twin Cities metro area, Minnesota. We didn't come at you last week because we were in
Florida.
We were in Florida for the ICAST fishing show. It was busy. We flew out last Sunday, actually. However, we had a lot going on that week before where we fished a ton. So we got a great report to share. So we're going to kind of cover really 2 weeks here in this one video. For starters, these two guys, Jack and Brody, fished their first BASS tournament of the year, junior bass, 3rd to 8th grade. And on Lake Waconia, caught a pile of fish, rifled through 35, 40 bass in 6-hour tournament. Didn't get the giants we wanted, but they still got 13th out of 61 boats. I'm proud of them. Jack's a savvy veteran. He's fished a bunch of tournaments. Brody, was that your first one? This was Brody's very first bass tournament. He's 7, the youngest kid in the field. Went out there, fished hard. You didn't even eat your lunch, did you? He skipped his lunch. He fished so hard and caught some fish. So we're going to talk about what worked for them, how they caught their fish on Lake Waconia that day, which is still consistent. You can use these same tactics they're about to tell you on Waconia right now, Lake Minnetonka, Forest Lake. These tactics they're going to share with you work all over the metro. So, Brody, how'd you catch your fish?
So I was using the mighty jig with the pocket fly, and so what we do. So with the mighty jig, so what you do? You bite an inch off, and then you put it on.
Yep.
And then,
That's right. He said you bite an inch off because we'll show you how big. This is about a 4.5-inch bait out of the package. And we've talked about this one before. Pretty supple. It's got those ribs and pockets in it. Oh, see how supple it is? It got out of my hand. So it's got those little ribs and pockets in it. And what we're doing is we're taking, oh my gosh, we're taking, see on my fingers? We're taking about that much off, so it's that long. And then we're threading it on there. Should we show them this? Want to go up there and show them the jig? That's how we're doing it right there. So we're rigging it up nice and easy, almost like a modified Ned rig. And that's kind of our jig worm approach to fishing these weed lines. Did you catch some big ones, Brody?
yeah.
What kind of line you got on there? Braid?
Yeah.
Braided line? And a spinning rod?
This is the one that I have right now, but I'm gonna get a new one for my boy for Christmas.
You've caught a lot of fish on that rod, though.
I caught my PP bass this one,
Yep.
and my fourth ever what's it called again?
Pike?
No, yeah, my fourth ever pike on this one.
Nice.
Yep, Brody, yeah, he's been using like a 6-foot to 6'6" medium action spinning rod, 20-pound braid, and like we've talked about, that 10 or 12-pound fluorocarbon leader. And he's fishing that all-terrain mighty head with that Mr. Twister pocket fryer on there, modified a bit to catch his fish. And Brody, you soaked a worm for a long time and caught a bunch of fish. Was that pretty fun?
I missed about 2,000 fish. But
He said he missed like 2,000 fish. True statement. He did miss some, but you caught some and helped contribute to the tournament. Nice job. Was it fun?
I just got a lot of small ones, and then caught a big one to help.
Yep. But did you have fun?
Yeah.
First tournament ever?
I'm surprised I didn't get hot at all.
Yeah, you didn't get hot at all. You stayed nice and cool and caught some fish and had a good time.
And of course I had my lip beer.
He had his root beer. Root beer and snacks. Big key to these kids being on the water for a long period of time. Jack, how'd you catch them? Well, you caught them the same way, I'm sure.
So, I tried a lot of baits, but the main one that really worked was that pocket fry from Mr. Twister as well. Same with the mighty jig, and all I was using was just not casting too far, pitching out, letting it sink very slow. I knew when I was fishing the right area was when I'd be jigging my jig worm and I feel it get stuck in the weeds, and that's when I knew I was going to whack one. And setting the hook was really key. I realized when I didn't set the hook good, that was when I lost a lot of our big fish and a lot of our fish. And same presentation as him. And we also got a lot of our fish that were up shallower in about 6 feet of water. When we were jig worm fishing, we were fishing about 16 feet of water, shallow, with this AT jig and pocket crawl in about 6 to 8, maybe even 10. And I even whacked a few of them pre-fishing as well, and some of them were even nice. So our nicer fish came up shallow, but we also got some big ones out on those weed lines and stuff like that, fishing in 16 feet of water like that.
14, 16 feet.
Like I said, just don't cast too far, just flip it right out there, let it sink. And like I said, I'll be jigging it, and when I feel I get stuck in the weeds, I know I'm in the right spot. And set the hook so hard because, like I said again, I've said it in all my YouTube videos and all my other videos, and I've struggled with this since I was like 8 years old, and he knows about that too. If you don't set the hook, you're gonna lose a lot of fish, and I learned that during the tournament. I probably lost 40 fish, not setting the hook, just reeling. So set the hook, it helps.
Yeah, and Brody learned that too. You just start reeling in. What happens? The fish shakes off.
And so, wait, what day was that when I had a fish on? I'm like, Dad, and you told me that I had fish. I'm like, no, I don't. And like the whole rod's going across the boat.
That was tournament day. You could see his line was moving so fast that when the line was entering the water, it was creating a wake. And he had so much slack out that he didn't know he had a fish on. So you want to make sure you keep contact with your lure. You're reeling up enough slack line so you can feel that bait.
What was I
and
doing?
then set the hook.
So I was doing a little snap bait, and then I look, and my dad's saying, "Oh, you have a fish on!" Like, and I'm like, "No, I'm eating my snack." And my rod is moving the whole across the boat. I'm like, "Oh my God, I have a fish on!" And I set the hook, and then I miss it.
Yeah, that happens.
okay.
So setting the hook is really, really key, especially on these jigworm fish. You got to really give them good because they want to throw that bait. There's a little bit of tension on the line, and they can throw that head around. So you want to make sure you set it good and keep tension the entire time on your fight back to the boat. So obviously the jigworm was catching a lot of fish. Like Jack was saying, we went up shallow, we flipped some jigs in the heavier weeds. That did get us some bigger bites. Definitely got us our bigger bites pre-fishing. Tournament day was tough. We moved a lot.
We moved a lot.
We moved 10 times that day, and we kept coming back to similar type areas. So the weed line bite, jigworm, the modified pocket fry was what really caught us most of our fish. A lot of fun. You guys learned some stuff?
I found my new bait.
I also learned be really patient too. I mean, I've kind of learned that because I dock fish a lot, and you just gotta let it sink. And if you're working it too fast, I realize I don't catch as many. When I was checking out jigworms and working it too fast, I didn't catch as many. Just let it sink, be patient. A lot of you that have fished, like I said, wacky rigs on docks and stuff, you gotta let it sink. It's kind of how it is in jigworming, except you want to jig it a little bit. Be patient, you'll get the fish, it'll come. 6 hours of tournament fishing, and it felt like 15 hours because I had to be patient, but
It does. Slow down. And you saw the video we put out in jigworm fishing a week or two ago. That is how you have to do it. If you fish a jigworm too fast or an Ed rig, you will notice you won't get bit as much. It's almost a dead stick approach. Let it hit it down, get down in the weeds, and like you heard Jack made a comment, if you're not pulling up weeds once in a while, you're not in the right spot. So you should be popping it through weeds once in a while, and that's where the fish are. All right, Brody, you want to show them something, then I'm going to talk about the upcoming week.
And Jack gave me this bait caster, and it's a blue bait caster.
Nice. Another bait casting rod. Chatterbait on there. You're going to go cast that thing around this week, catch a big bass.
This bait cast, or this style bait is special because at Emmabourg, when I was 5 at the cabin, I lost it. Then I found it again at the cabin 3 years later. Now I have it on here again.
Nice. So we got some fishing ahead of us this week. Wanted to talk about a couple other things here before we end the report. Tomorrow, Monday, July 26th, is the 4th annual Blackfish Classic Tournament for Bass. Make sure you tune into the Blackfish Gear Facebook page. We're going to be going live throughout the day. We'll be sending off all the teams in the morning, and then at 2:30 in the afternoon, we'll be going live for the weigh-in. I'm expecting big bags. You'll be with me tomorrow. I'm expecting big bags. It's going to take definitely over 20 pounds to win this one for 5 bass. 100 boats, 200 of the best bass anglers on Lake Minnetonka scoring off tomorrow for $10,000. Some other ways we're catching our fish right now. We talked about jigs, we talked about jigworm fishing. We all know those are productive. Caught some fish on crankbaits. The football head is one that's getting a big nod right now. Football head, rock jig, roller jig. You've heard all different kinds of terminologies for that. This just happens to be an all-terrain football jig. You can see it's got that flat base right there. And the nice thing about that flat base is that it drags along the rocks. I can feel those rocks easy, and I got a pocket craw on the back. I bit about a ½ an inch off the tip to give it a smaller profile, and I'm bouncing that along the deep rocks. This time of year, those big bass are schooling up. A lot of times they're on hard bottom, deep structure, outside weed lines, deep rock points, deep rock humps, and this football jig can really get out there. Easy to cast, easy to make contact with the bottom, and again, you want to set the hook. And I'm using like a 30-pound braid, and I'm actually putting a fluorocarbon leader on this as well. So, and I'm using a 7.6 medium heavy action rod. Great setup, just all purpose to get out there and chase down these fish. So football jigs, some anglers call it a roller jig or a rock jig, whatever your terminology is, similar approach. I've also been catching some fish throwing a heavy chatterbait, much like I would a crankbait. So I'm throwing a pretty beefy 3/4 ounce. You can see how big that head is. Heavy chatterbait, and I'm throwing that out deep, just like I would work a crankbait. I can let this thing go all the way down in 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 feet of water. And I'll slowly reel this back to the boat. So I'm fishing that chatterbait, not always shallow. I'm casting this out deep and slowly working that back to the boat. I've caught some big fish doing that as well. Pretty effective profile, pretty effective bait to be out there fishing deep water. A lot of anglers aren't fishing chatterbaits deep. They're fishing them a shallow cover, they're fishing them inside pockets, all that kind of stuff. So I'm throwing a heavy chatterbait in deep water, much like I would a Carolina rig or a crankbait, and you can catch some fish. So try the chatterbait in deep water as well. And for this, I'm fishing like a 7.3, 7.6 heavy action rod. I got 30-pound braid in there, and again, I'm using a fluorocarbon leader. You can use 17-pound fluorocarbon on this as well if you want to just run straight fluoro, but that deep chatterbait has been a ticket for me lately to get that bigger bite. So a lot of ways to catch these fish. We're seeing water temps again in the upper 70s, low 80s by the time we end the day. It's been hot, it's been in the 90s, so it's, again, wear your Blackfish gear, stay comfortable, stay dry, put water in your boat, all those sorts of things are super important. Sunscreen for sure, chase down some fish, hydrate as much as you can, and enjoy your time on the water. I would encourage you, if you have kids, or even yourself, throw on a swimsuit. Real nice to jump in the lake quick and climb back into the boat. It refreshes you. You got a little more momentum. You get your pep in your step there by cooling yourself off. So a lot of things happening right now. We're in midsummer, summer patterns, deep water fish. Shallow bite, it still exists in the morning or under docks during the day, or flipping heavy milfoil. They are going to relate to cover that gives them shade and sanctuary during the day. Otherwise, get out deeper. That's your bigger bite. That's where you're going to catch your nicer fish, is in deeper water, cooler water, and these fish are schooling up. So lots of ways to catch them. We anticipate this next week being a busy one. I got 5 straight days on Minnetonka, and then we got a tournament on Saturday. We'll talk to you about that on Sunday and how it goes. These two kids are squaring off, and we got a special guest that we'll be fishing with on Saturday. We'll talk about that later. So 5 days on Tonka. I'm going to be winded. It's going to be exciting. We got a lot going on, and then a special tournament for these two guys, brother versus brother, with some fun elements to it. So what do you think, guys? That's about wrap it up, huh?
Wait.
Okay, Brody said wait. Well, Brody's got something else. What do you got, Brody? Then we'll send them off.
You put these in, then I got some frogs.
All right, show them your frogs, and then we're going to let them go. Brody's got his frogs. Another way you can catch fish right now.
This one's really cool crankbait. It's minnows.
Cool crankbaits. And then show them a frog. And then there is...
Look at some more of my frogs.
Ooh, lots of frogs.
Oh,
Brody
these.
likes frogs. Kids and frogs are cool. You can
Then
put it...
my biggest one, this is my favorite.
Oh, big mamba jamba.
Big
Giant,
chungus.
big chungus, giant spro frog. There you have it. So we've had a good couple of weeks. Get out there, have some fun, catch some fish, enjoy the rest of your July. When we come back at you, it'll be August already, and football starts. So enjoy the week, catch some fish. Say see ya, Brody.
See you, fish.
Go Vikings.